Hey, D Willis here, and today's video I want to talk to you a little bit about starting your first LLC. Now, I know things can get a little scary, challenging. You don't know if you should go with an attorney, if it's something you should take care of by yourself. But I do want to go over a few things because I want you to avoid some mistakes, especially if you're in Arizona. I'm going to cover some Arizona specifics that I found out and some mistakes that I made, and hopefully that you can avoid them. I do have both screens up, so I am working with two screens because I want to keep us on task because it's a lot of information to cover. So I advise that you grab a piece of paper and a pen and jot down the things that you want to jot down. I'm going to leave some chapters in below in the description in case you want to skip around. But here's ultimately what we're going to cover. What is an LLC? Understanding what an LLC really is, choosing your business name carefully, starting your first LLC and the steps along with that, appointing a registered or statutory agent, as well as starting it up online, because some states you can do it online instead of having to go down and turn in the paperwork in person. Also about getting your EIN and opening up a business bank account. And I do know that some people have trouble opening up a traditional type of bank account for their business. I have something for that, and just some quick tips to success with taking care of everything. Now, before I dive in, I do want to put my disclaimer out there. I am not a financial advisor or an attorney. This is not legal, financial, or any type of tax advice. I am just sharing with you basically what I do, and I have multiple LLCs and have created multiple LLCs over the years, and I do my own paperwork. And because I'm a sole member LLC, it was one time I did do a partnership type of LLC where there was two members, and this is what I do for myself. So I'm just sharing this information just so you can be aware of some things. Now, based on where you're located, not every country has an LLC. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Canada, you have to incorporate. I don't think they have like what we have here in the States, like an LLC, which is a limited liability company or corporation, but it's limited liability. And it's a common business structure here in the U.S. that most entrepreneurs use when they're first starting. Either they go in as a sole proprietor with no protection for them, for their personal assets, or they go in with the LLC to kind of separate their business entity versus their personal assets. And so that's kind of what the flexibility of having an LLC is for. However, forming an LLC alone does not protect your personal assets. Just because you have an LLC, it's possible that someone can still come after you personally. And that's if you're commingling your business and your personal together. If you're going to do an LLC, you need to do it right. You need to separate your personal money from your business money. And the sooner you can do that, the better. Sometimes I do know that you have to use your own personal capital out of your own personal bank account to get your business started. That is typically okay to do because it's startup money. But as soon as you can get your money, your personal money, into a business account and use that business account to fund the business, the better. Okay, because then you're showing, hey, after I paid my initial startup money, I've been just using business funds for business related stuff and not using your personal and your business, because if you commingle that, then they can come after you personally. Okay, so you really have to keep everything separated when you're doing an LLC. I say choose your business name carefully because when you're starting an LLC, you want to check several things before you just go register your business name. Now, I've seen people make mistakes where they've gone and registered this business name and things come back to bite them in the butt. So you have to do your research first. And I'm telling you firsthand because I've seen it with my clients and people that I talk to that start businesses. And I'm like, did you check this? They like, no. Did you check that? No. And so it becomes a problem. So the first thing you will want to do is when you come up with a business name, come up with more than one that you might like, because you don't want to get attached to this business name and somebody else is using it somewhere and then you didn't have any backup names. So come up with multiple business names that you like. And then the first thing you want to do is go check with your state's corporate commission, your state's corporate commission's website. They should typically have a search. Every state has a corporate commission. Like in Arizona, it's called the Arizona Corporate Commission. Probably in Ohio, it's the Ohio Corporate Commission. Every state has their own corporate commission or the Secretary of State. But definitely go to your corporate commission and do a search to make sure nobody in your state is using that business name. That's the first thing you want to do, is check the state level. If nobody's using the business name at the state level, the next place you're going to want to go is to the United States Patent and Trademark Office online. It's a .gov. Nobody should be charging you for this information because it's all free. You're going to go there and then you're going to search your business name again under the federal level, because now you're checking to make sure nobody's trademarked that name. That name is not federally being used somewhere, because the worst thing you can do is to start a business. Yes, it's not at the state level, but you never check the federal level. So now you done started a business and then you infringing on somebody's copyright, and then you getting sued before you even get started, or you getting letters to cease and desist. And then you've made all your stationery and you bought all your stuff in this business name that you can't even use. Right? So don't waste your money like that. That happened to somebody I know, and that's why I'm able to speak on it, because it happened. Now, thankfully, I already know all of this, so this has not happened to me in my life as of yet. I'm knocking on wood, because I do my research first. Once you check your state and your federal, now it's time to check for the domain name. And you want to I go to Namecheap. I'll put the link for it below. I like Namecheap. I moved all of my domains from GoDaddy to Namecheap. And I've been with GoDaddy for years, but I've been with Namecheap for years now too, but I moved everything over. Now with Namecheap, I want to check the .com. I always go for the .com. If you're a nonprofit organization, then go for the .org. If you're doing an app or something like that, go for .io. If you're an education company, go for .edu, but I think you have to really be like a charter school or something like that to use the .edu, because you're an education institution. But if you're a solo entrepreneur like myself, get the .com. Now, these 3 checks you're going to want to do for every single business name that you have or that you're interested in, because you don't want to infringe on nobody's copyright. For one, and for 2, with the domain name, you don't want to get, okay, at the state level it's clear, at the federal level it's clear, and then you think you just about to go ahead and start locking down this name, and then you come to find out you can't get the .com because a domain reseller then bought it, so they can sell it to you for about $2,000-$3,000 when you could have just bought it for 10. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to give you the game here. So check all of those places first. And then once all of those places check out, buy the .com immediately. You need to do that before you go register the name. Okay? Get your .com. Because a lot of people are not going to, I say get the .com to lock the business name in, because a lot of people or like big top millionaire people, they're not typically gonna start a business and they can't get the domain name to it. And 9 times out of 10, they buy them all. They buy the .com, the .net, and any other way, any misspellings, they buy it too. So you can all land on their page. So get the .com ASAP. Lock that down. And then after you get all of that, now it's time to start thinking about your LLC. And for the most part, there's going to come a time where you're going to need an accountant or a CPA. Because when you start earning a certain amount of money and you get into a certain tax bracket, you might want to rethink and talk to a financial advisor a professional about how you want to formulate your company, because it may not no longer be beneficial for you to have an LLC for tax purposes when you might need to go up to a S corp or a corporation or something like that. But I'm gonna leave that in the hands of the professionals. But I'm just letting you know it's gonna probably come a time where you want to get that CPA or accountant ASAP, because they are the professionals to tell you what you need to do to better protect yourself and your business. Okay, so here's the first thing you want to do when you're thinking about doing your LLC. After you got the domain name and everything is good, before you register your domain name with your state, I mean, not your domain name, but your business, and get the LLC and file the articles, the first thing you're going to want to do is get an address. Either you're going to get a virtual address, a virtual mailing address, or you're going to go get a UPS box address. Some attorneys allow you to use their address as a service, a mailing address, because for one, you can't use a PO box on your articles. It has to be an actual physical address. And for two, it's public record. So I'm pretty sure you don't want nobody coming to your crib. So do not put your home address on your articles. Okay? Not unless you want somebody showing up. And if you do have your home address on your articles, I highly, highly recommend that you switch out. But anyway it go, even if you update the articles, typically all of them are still visible, right? So then they have your home address. So that is public record. Think about the address. And if you don't want to use your home address before you file those articles, get a virtual address, or you can go to UPS store and get one of their physical addresses to the mailbox there. Okay. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do to file your articles. The second thing you're going to want to do is decide who is going to be your registered or statutory agent. And that comes into place because the statutory agent and the registered agent is typically the same thing. Different states call them different things, but it's typically the same thing. It's like who's going to collect any legal documentations or notices on behalf of the company. If you are a solo entrepreneur and you are a single member LLC, 9 times out of 10, the statutory or registered agent is going to be you too. It's typically me, okay? Well, it ain't typical. It's all the time. It's me, all right? So not only am I the owner of the single member LLC, I'm also the statutory or registered agent of that LLC as well, okay? And the statutory agent and the owner can have the same address here in the state of Arizona. I don't know what other states do. However, I never really seen a problem with the statutory agent and the owner having the same address. So that means you can use the same UPS address or virtual address that you have. But again, you want to check with your state, and it's typically on the instructions on the paperwork, so you can see that information. So if you're here in the state of Arizona, now this is some state of Arizona specific stuff. If you're here in the state of Arizona, we are able to file our LLC paperwork, our articles online. All right. Now, if you do it online, you're going to have to pay the expedited fee. So just to let you know, because you have regular pay and you have expedited, but if you're doing it online, they're going to automatically charge you the extra $30 or the $35 for the expedite or the expedition, because once you do it online, you're going to get your articles immediately, like show on the next screen type, download, save, PDF type of thing. So you're going to pay for that extra $35. I do all of mine ever since I was able to do it online, and they started online in COVID. Before COVID, you wasn't able to do them online. You had to go down there in person. I printed up the documents online and filled it out at home and then took them down there and dropped them off. But now, Arizona Corporate Commission, you can do them online, and it's a beautiful thing. I do it online. Now, if you do it online, here's where I made my mistake. I made this mistake myself. When you're doing it online, you got to create an account. And once you go to the Arizona Corporate Commission, they have a button at the top called eCorp. When you click eCorp, it's going to make you register an account. Whatever email address you use to register this account, use that same email address in your articles as the statutory agent. Use the same email address. And the reason why is when you're doing it online, the Arizona Corporate Commission is automatically going to send an acceptance, but the statutory agent has to have an account with the Arizona Corporate Commission. It's not going to send it to their email address. It's going to send it within the system. And what I did was I put another one of my a different email address, thinking they were going to email it to me. No. Because your statutory agent is supposed to sign up to the E-Corp site with that email, and it sends it to them, because a lot of statutory agents or registered agents are like attorneys, and they pretty much already have them because they file articles for people. People pay them to do that. So it sends it inside the system. Well, I used a different email address. So I never got it. And believe me, they charged me the money. Okay, but I could never accept, because there's a place when you log in the back, it'll say, if somebody asks for you or requested for you to be a statutory agent for their company or whatever, and then you just click accept. But you got to be logged into the Arizona Corporate Commission website to see it. Well, that email address wasn't registered. It was my other one. So I lost out on that money and had to do it again. So I paid for like a business, a LLC, twice. So that's a lesson learned. Use the same email address. I didn't know. I thought maybe to mess it up if I had both the same email address. It don't. So if you, the statutory agent, use the same email address that you used when you logged in and made the account. Now, after you've did your articles and paid for your articles, this goes for everybody. You want to immediately go get your EIN, and you get that from the government, the IRS, for free. Stop paying all these people to do this stuff when you don't have to. Go to and I got the link for you to go check out all the links to this, okay? So, and it's the real government links, okay? So go to the IRS. It's free. Sometimes if you go at night or on the weekends or something, it's a certain time they cut off, right? So don't be discouraged. Just, they do maintenance at a certain time at night. And so then it'll be open the next morning after they do daily maintenance. And once you do your EIN, at the end, once you press complete, done, send, you're going to get the letter immediately. So you can just press PDF, save, download, whatever, print, do whatever you want to do. And what I do on my documents, I don't necessarily print them out all the time, not right away, especially if you're somewhere and you don't necessarily have a printer. What you can do is press print, like you're going to print, and then change the printer to save as PDF, and then it'll download it, and then drop that sucker into your Google Drive. I put all my documents in my Google Drive after I get them anyway, because when I'm on the go, if I'm somewhere and they ask me for my EIN number, which is basically your employee identification number, that's what your business use as a social security number for your business. So sometimes somebody might be like, well, what's your EIN? I want to be able to get to it because I don't remember it. I got enough stuff to remember as it is. I barely can remember my own social security number, and you asking me to remember some more numbers. So I like to keep it in my drive. So I just go in my drive and blow it up, and I can see the number and give it to them. So there you have it with your EIN. Now here is about the bank account. If you have trouble getting a traditional bank like a Wells Fargo, Bank of America, National City, whatever, you can go with a profit first type of mentality. I love Profit First. It's actually a book. I don't know if I can say his name right, but his name is Michael Witz, something like that. But anyway, it's a book called Profit First. You can get it on Amazon. I had a link for you. But it tells you about how to break out your money. And it talks about having multiple accounts, multiple checking accounts for different things. One checking account, that's where all your revenue go into there. And then a certain percentage of your revenue gets split out for your taxes and split out for your expenses and things like that. In the Profit First mentality or accounting system or method, should I say, you profit first. So you determine what you want your profit to be. You pay you first. And the monies that you didn't split out, you just got to make that work. So if you know you wanted a 60% profit margin or 70 or 80% profit margin, when that revenue come in, that percentage automatically goes over into your account, like your account or whatever. And then the leftover monies, or whatever monies go into the operating expense or whatever the case may be, you got to work within that budget, which means your tools, your expenses, and everything needs to work within the budget that you set. It's real cool the way it's set up, because you get to pay you first, and you get to take your money and what you feel you're worth first, and you make the business work around you instead of you working around your business. It's a great method. I follow this method. Now, the trouble about this method is a regular bank account like Wells Fargo or Chase or Bank of America, it's going to be hard to walk in there and be like, look, I need 5 checking accounts for this one business. They barely want to give you one account. So how are you supposed to get all of these different accounts? For one for your taxes, one for your expenses and your OpEx, which is your operating expenses, one for your revenue, one, how are you supposed to do that? And how is the money and the percentages supposed to go over here? Well, there's a online bank called Relay. It's Relay Finance, or the Relay Fi. I got a link to it. Okay. I go through this bank. I go through them for my business. Okay. So I have a revenue account where all the revenue go. And then it takes, I got rules set up where it automatically once a week, it'll take out 30% that's in the revenue and put it in the taxes and so on and so forth. Okay. It does it. And they are already with the profit first, like methodology. They understand it, this bank. So I bank with them. Also, you can get not debit and credit cards, but debit cards for each checking account if you want it. Now, I don't have a debit card necessarily for the revenue account. Okay, I chose not to get one. I chose because I don't want to touch the revenue. I want to touch the profit money. Now, the profit money I have a card for, because that's my money, right? And then the percentage that go into the OpEx or the operating expense, I got a card for that too, so I can do the shopping for the business with that card. You know what I mean? So and the taxes just sit there for when it's time to pay taxes. I got the money. I don't got the card to that either. Because when that time come, I'm just going to move the money, transfer the money, and pay the tax. Or you get a routing account numbers and bank account numbers to each account anyway. So if I got to push come to shove, I'll write the account number and the routing number and let them take it out. Because I don't want to touch it. So it's a good way to budget yourself and manage yourself. Even if you don't got a business, I think it's really, really cool the way this is set up. Okay? Because you're not going to get this like at a traditional bank. And again, I'm going to put the links down for you below. So that would be a solution for you. And you can start it with no money. Like you don't got to have $25 in there. You can start it with no money. And then whenever you get paid or whatever, you can put some money over there. Okay? And then you make all your businesses make the money go into that account. You know what I mean? So hopefully that was helpful. And hopefully this helped you understand how you can start your very, very, very first LLC and avoid some mistakes that most people make. So I just kind of want to give you some quick tips before I head out of here. The first tip is to like this video. The second tip is to subscribe to my channel. Okay. No, for real. The success tips. Stay organized. Keep all your business stuff and your expenses and all that stuff separate from your personal. And track everything. Make sure that you track all of your purchases, which is your expenses, all of your monies received, which is your revenues. Keep track of this. You can do this in a Google spreadsheet or on a piece of paper in a notebook if you want. If you're a writer and you got to write this down and see it, do that, or put it on Google Sheets or Excel sheet. But I know that starting your very first LLC can be a little scary, but it's definitely worth it. Sit down, take your time with it, and make sure you got your ducks in a row before you fill out the paperwork and you pay that money, because you don't want to waste no money. And make sure you have an address that's not your home address, not unless you don't mind people Googling your house and showing up and pulling up on you. You know what I mean? That's on you. To each their own. But yes, don't put I don't personally put that. No, I got a business address. Okay. And it's a business expense. I write that off. That's my business expense, you know, for them to collect my mail and do what I need to do for my business. Hey. So again, I hope you found this information helpful. And if so, please share with others, you know, share with people, comment below if you have any questions. If there's anything, let me know what's going on in your state. Can you do it online in your state? I don't know. In Arizona, we can file our articles online. Let me know if you can file your articles online where you are. Let's help people get the information that they need so that way they can avoid some mistakes and be successful. And let me know about a mistake you made on your paperwork at one point in time in your life if you've already started an LLC before. Help out others that haven't, okay? Love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.